this, but we're back, but in the year 2021, which is, yeah, it's crazy that the year just flew by, and we are in now what some might think as a year of the ox. So we had that digital check-in question this morning just to kind of explore culture and the meaning of the year and like some of the characteristics and personality traits that might be associated or the good fortune that might happen this year in 2021.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, so it's exciting. We're back. It's a brand new year. How was your break, Miss Lar?
Very restful. I feel very lucky to have slept a lot. When you're an adult, you kind of bank up all of your sleep and then you you sleep all at once if you can. And so I had just a lot of rest. And I was apart from my family due to just the risks. And I don't regret it because everybody's safe, but I hope that means that we can have a reunited holiday season this upcoming year. So I know a number of our families had to do the same.
That's awesome. Yeah, in the same way as me too. I haven't seen my mom in particular in 7 months now, which has never happened before in my entire life thus far. I've never gone this long without seeing her and my younger brother and my younger sister as well. But yeah, these circumstances are interesting. But yeah, it definitely was nice to have some time away from the computers. We definitely missed all of our staff and our students. I know students kind of expressed that a couple of days ago when they came back on the 4th on Monday. But it was nice to get away to kind of relax and do some of the things to help us relax and get our mind off of just school-related activities and assignments. So in that regard, since it's a brand new year, in case parents or students do not know, I want to take the opportunity to look over what is generally the procedure for this Mental Health Wednesday. So in the morning, teachers are always posting this survey that Miss Lar creates onto their Google Classrooms. And so the expectations around the surveys, do you want to go over them, Miss Lar? And I can definitely scroll down for you as you're speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental Health Wednesday is something we decided to do when we went to distance learning so that I could still provide a mental health culture and awareness in our school. And the best way of doing that directly to our students is to provide them a video and a form every Wednesday that's given to the teachers. It looks exactly like this, where we start with a video and I try to keep it under 10 minutes and it will be on a topic of the week. Sometimes I do series where like for 3 weeks, we talk about something in particular. And so this year, I wanted to start with goodbyes and gratitude. And I'll ask a couple of questions. If there is a star next to the question, that means it is required of our students to reflect on. For example, there's an optional one right there. And so besides learning a little bit more about a mental health topic, I ask our students to check in about how full their cup is, which is a very alpha language kind of question, so that our students can basically tell us if they're feeling overwhelmed or if they're feeling okay. If you could click on the choose options for how full your cup is, students can say maybe they're feeling a little full, but it's nothing they can't handle, meaning like, I'm good, I'm just a little stressed. Keep that in mind. When students answer these questions, I will send them over to our teachers and they will receive kind of whether students want a check-in from their teachers or from me.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, we don't get the responses directly, so we want to make sure that some of this information is definitely confidential. So Ms. Lar relays the most important information to the teachers just to keep us updated. And if obviously students have those requests, we want to be available, not only the teachers, but pretty much all of our staff members. So this is something that we started to do at the beginning of 2020. It's been almost a year since we've been doing these mental health check-ins. So it's incredibly important that students, you take this seriously and you're writing in the responses. resources. Miss Lara is the only one that is able to access them. There is that privacy aspect of it. So if you're worried about that or nervous about that, that is secure. And we just get a general report from the teacher side, just so we know we're kind of in the loop with generally what's going on. And we want to make sure that your well-being, mental, physical, emotional, everything is going well, and provide you the supports that can help you get better. And this is actually something we do with our teachers as well and staff. We're adults too, and even if we're older and we're adults, we still, you know, sometimes struggle with these situations too. So that's why it's important for the adults to also talk about gratitude, especially in the topic of your video today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of stuff happens for students around the new year, and there's so many different ways people talk to me about the new year. They say new year, new me, or it's a clean slate, fresh start. And some people are like, well, whatever, it's any other day. I fell asleep at 10. It is totally on the person's preference how they consider a new year and what it means to them. The reason I wanted to bring up gratitude for reflecting on the last year is because gratitude kind of helps make meaning over difficult things that happened. And it is without question that every single person in America had a difficult year last year for a reason, whatever that reason is. There were so many global events that may have been very present and personal for our students. You know, the pandemic happened, and it wasn't something that's on the other side of the world. It may have started that way, but once it was in our homes, in our backyards, in our neighborhoods, affecting our parents' jobs, affecting our learning, you know, we all were distance. So it absolutely has affected everyone. And some people handle it differently than others. Better, more challenged. I just wanted to give a space to reflect on the last year, really acknowledging that it was difficult.
And yeah, I think if you had to weigh between the two, of whether it's good or bad. Oh, we have a guest arriving today too. It looks like our principal, Miss Akhtar, is joining us right now. So we really appreciate you coming aboard, Miss Akhtar.
Hi, good afternoon. I know this was not planned, but I wanted to stop in and see how everything was going and say hello to you both and everyone else on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we were just talking about like focusing on gratitude from 2020, as so many things were happening aside from the coronavirus. It affected us in so many different ways, but to focus and harness the positive things about 2020 is less burdening than focusing on what didn't happen, what didn't I say or do, or why did this happen, blah, blah, blah. Focusing and honing in on those positive things and presenting it as like a platform for you to build off of. Like this actually like made me more creative in this circumstances, and I want to do more with it. So I told my students on Monday, I had the chance to, I only see a couple people within my pod, and two of those people is a couple that I unintentionally introduced to each other, but they bought their first house this year, and they had a baby girl. So I'm basically an uncle to their daughter Meadow. So we randomly decided to make a birdhouse, and so I still need to do more. We built the houses, we coated them. Now we got to paint them, and so we decided, when I visit again, we're going to make a birdhouse neighborhood, a cul-de-sac. So, I mean, that might be very subtle, small things, but there are positive things you want to just hone and focus on, not be distracted by things on the side, and just build off of that. Keep riding the wave as long as you can, and enjoy it and learn from it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that, as I think it's really important to think through a list of everything that you are thankful for. An exercise that I mentioned earlier to staff that somebody told me to try out is go on a walk when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling like things are not going well. And 2020 was really hard for all of us in some way. And when you are going on this walk, to actually just start repeating what you're thankful for. And you might not know exactly everything then, but like start with, I'm thankful that I am healthy, that I am able to walk. Start with something really small, and then things will start coming to you that you didn't even recognize. Is that you're lucky, that you should be thankful for this. And so that really helps me when I'm feeling anxious. Now I just do that. I get off my computer, go on a walk, even if it's in my apartment, back and forth, and just start naming things that I'm really thankful for. And that helps calm me down.
Yeah, I think, I mean, one part of it that comes to mind is when you're out there, obviously we're social distancing, but I think we're, by nature of just the distancing, we're automatically assuming that we cannot socialize or talk to other people. So I think I would take it a step further, and it's really hard for me too, to be honest, because I'm kind of that mindset as well. And it's like, while you're walking, like, just say good morning. You can't really show your smile, but you can show with your hand signals and through verbally expressing that, you know, you care for them, like you're hoping that they have a good day and they take care, you know, saying thank you, you know, all these things that can be positive language for each other is something we can definitely exercise in those instances. So I don't know if you want to add anything more to that, Miss Lar.
I think that, well, one of the things that came up for me is that there might have been a feeling of being alone over this last year in terms of social distancing at school, maybe even reducing the amount of contact you have with the family members and, you know, in your pod and the group of people that you want to expose yourself to. I think that there might be a feeling of loneliness and being alone. And I think that part of being in a community, especially like in a school community, in a neighborhood community, is that you're all experiencing very similar things. You just have to talk about it so that you don't feel alone. Like, all three of us may have not been able to see our family members, but we wouldn't have ever known it if we didn't talk about it. And this kind of shared experience is going to not have us feel so lonely, but also maybe have some gratitude that we have people to share it with. And then each of us could share different ideas about what might have, what are some of the positives that might have come from that experience, even though it was difficult. And so being part of the Blanca community, I think with our students, maybe they've been feeling really lonely after the last 2 weeks, especially because they didn't get to go out, maybe didn't go to Winterfest at Great America, things like that, that really would have been so nice to have done. So when we welcome our students back and reflect on the last year, I really want them to know that even if they felt lonely over the last year, it's really time to reconnect, reconnect in our community, reconnect with us, so that they just don't feel alone in this experience.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we've always pushed, Miss Laura and I, is that, you know, don't put yourself in a corner or a situation where you're going to make yourself even more lonelier. It is okay to ask for help and get support. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you, you know, less of a human being. Don't feel afraid and scared about asking for help. It's okay. We all need to at some point. And, you know, it's going to look different for everybody too, but we're in it together. You've heard that quite a bit, but it doesn't stop in 2021. We're in it together. And again, I think there are a lot of different resources that are available at our school. So as a representative of Blanca Alvarado, as our principal this year, Miss Akhtar, I don't know if you want to add into like some of the resources, some of the things that we can provide to our families and our students.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest resources we have is that we have an amazing mental health curriculum set up by Ms. Lar. It's to attend Learn with Lar. If you have questions, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling alone, it is a community where you can come share and understand the experiences of others and realize that there are lots of similarities. And additionally, Ms. Lar is here to check in with students as well. So families can reach out with her directly or with the teachers, who often will let Ms. Lar know, hey, this is a student who might benefit from speaking to you. Additionally, we have peers and teachers that students can reach out to. You know, I was thinking about what you both were sharing about this feeling of loneliness and how we shouldn't feel alone because we are experiencing very similar things, and it's just that we don't know it. And it just takes us to just change our actions, right? It's about reaching out, which I think is different, because when we were in person, we might have taken for granted that I got to see you, Mr. S, in person, and I could just come approach you and speak to you if I needed anything and check in on you. However, now it takes more effort on my part to proactively think about, let me text Mr. S or call him and check in on him. And that takes intention, right? I have to have that intention that you matter, I care, I want to connect, and then I will do it. And so I think that is something that I've been reminded of this year, is that yes, things are different, but maybe things were too easy for me, and I was taking them for granted. And I need to now be more intentional about people I care about and love and want to stay connected with and have them be part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really important point as well. With technology these days, it's a lot different than when we were kids in elementary school even. And so we want to make sure parents and students also know that there are many modes of communication. There's the telephone that you can reach us out to our office or the teachers. There are several apps you can use. We have Remind as an app that our parents and students can use to communicate with us. We have email available on every Chromebook through our student accounts through Google. And obviously a lot of our parents use email themselves, so they're more than welcome to email the teachers and staff as well. And then I don't know if too many people use this, but we also have Google Hangouts, and obviously like we are on right now, we have Zoom. So there are many ways to get in contact with us or the right people that you feel comfortable to provide you the support. And I do want to also say, outside of mental health, our food distribution has continued throughout the year. It's an awesome opportunity that our school has a partnership with. Can you actually elaborate a little bit more, Ms. Akhtar, about that? I don't remember all the details off the top of my head.
Yep, food distribution happens daily. It starts, I believe, at 10 o'clock. It ends around 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I want to add on, not only do our families have food distribution available to them, we actually have an Alpha Parent Center. And Alejandro Espinoza leads that and can help with anything from housing to legal issues, and has tons of resources that he provides as long as the parent reaches out to him directly or to us. And he's even, offering dance classes virtually. So there's lots of ways to get involved with the Parent Center. And then also our offices are open in person. All Alpha schools actually have our office staff there daily. And so if parents wanted to just come share anything personally or ask and seek resources, they can do that in person as well.
And I know it can be tough with these times for finances. And I'll be very frank, when my dad passed away, it was very hard for my mom to make ends meet and try to find resources to provide for her and for our family. So we do have resources available to help families in need in that regard as well. So please reach out. We have the Parent Center you talked about and several others. So again, don't feel embarrassed or anything or ashamed. A lot of us are having a hard time, and it's okay to, again, reach out for help. Just to move on, I think a good thing that we could talk about with the last few minutes of our conversation, Ms. Lar, is kind of like what an actual session could look like if they were to seek out counseling. What types of environment are we in? What types of questions are asked? How is the process? How does it work?
Yeah, so typically when students are trying to engage in counseling at school, what that might look like is that they're going to ask their teachers if they can connect with me. Their information would be passed on to me, and I can do a check-in, which is maybe like a 30-minute conversation over Google Hangouts or Zoom. And so after that initial check-in, if they need further counseling services, then I need parent consent, which is like verbal or written permission, kind of like a permission to go on a field trip, but it's a permission to see Ms. Lar. And then after about 2 months, if students are still interested in counseling, because school is short-term counseling. The reason I say that is because counseling should be weekly and it should be for as long as you need it. If you need it longer than 2 months, or for example, we're about to go on summer break. If I'm the therapist you're looking to talk to into summer break and I'm not available because school doesn't happen during the summer, then I can help you find a different resource that is covered by their insurance or even possibly free through Medi-Cal and the Santa Clara County of Behavioral Health. And so really it looks like talking, processing. I'll ask a lot of questions. I'll help students think about and reflect on difficult things that happen, as well as give them different ways to think, different ideas to cope, and also just trying to help them get to a place of feeling confidence, better about themselves, more resilient about the problems that they're facing, just overall trying to increase their well-being in 30 to 40 minute conversations over Google Hangouts or Zoom.
And again, it's okay, like maybe there are things you want to talk about or different individuals you might feel more comfortable. That's all okay. That is your choice as a patient to receive counseling. Some of those questions, although might be uncomfortable, but it's to your comfort level. And I think I would recommend, if you do seek it out, kind of opening it up. Again, this is a private conversation. So the more you kind of elaborate and think about and share, the more progress can be made. So again, although those questions can be uncomfortable and maybe trigger you to feel a certain way, counselors are there to help you navigate through it and see a lot of what's going on in the whole picture and move you forward. And, you know, they don't tell you what to do.
No.
Like, you have to do this, you have to do that. They're not there to judge you or anything like that. It's an open conversation, and you're trying to unravel the puzzle of your mind together. And someone's helping you, kind of like a guide. And if you're your own guide too, sometimes they ask questions that are like, oh man, okay, I see what's going on there. I know why I said this or did this or thought this. So that's why it's so useful and helpful to be able to reflect in a totally different way with people that are professionally trained to try to really get into the seams of the mental state.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone came to me and told me, you know, I don't really want to talk to you, I'd rather talk to my family, I would love for someone to say that to me, because your family's going to be with you for life. I'm only someone that's going to be with you for a few months. I want people to have good, sustainable relationships with the people around them. And if somebody said, I feel more comfortable talking to my friend, I'd say, that's great. How do we get you to open up to your friend? What difficulties are you having in asking your friends for help? I definitely want, you know, counseling is supposed to be short term. It's not supposed to be something that you have forever, because I can't be around forever. You'll only be around for the rest of your life. So how do we make you the most sustainable and I guess stable person that you could be? And so that's something that counseling can help with, especially in the short term. And like I said, again, I can help families figure out how to get longer therapy services if they need through the county. And it could also include their parents, because that's another thing, is that school counseling does not include the family, but outside counseling could, whereas you could sit with your family, sit with your parents, sit with your sibling in a room and get that help that you want.
Yeah, it makes me think of a bicycle. Like, learning how to ride a bicycle was just like, there's so many different challenges to it. Like, sometimes we have training wheels, or sometimes we have like a person helping us.
Yeah.
We get to enjoy the ride of life by riding it by yourself, maybe with people beside us, but on our own. We want to be able to be as stable as possible, so we can thoroughly, instead of like concentrating on my feet or the handlebar, enjoy the view, enjoy everything about riding a bicycle without having these like crutches to try to keep me up, or like in my imbalance and stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely recommend, if don't feel afraid to reach out. So saying that, we want to definitely go into the resources too. Yeah, Miss Laura.
Yeah, actually, around that metaphor, I'm just imagining people that are on a bike and they keep falling and they're just upset with themselves because they think that they should be able to get it by now, or they've just given up on riding the bike and now they're walking or sitting. Like, life should be something that you can do with other people, just keep moving forward. But if you find yourself continuously falling, it is really okay to ask for that help. Can someone teach me how to do this again? Because I've forgotten. And so that kind of support really should be offered. And if it's not offered, then somebody needs to ask for that, to know when to ask for those needs to be met. So I really appreciate that metaphor. I think I'm going to write it down and use it.
So we're going to jump in for the last few minutes to the student page. This is where you can access some of those resources that Ms. Akhtar was talking about earlier. So if you go to the student homepage, and parents, if you don't know, they have a student homepage where they have all the links for a lot of different things in regards to Alpha Blanca Alvarado. There is a button here that says Mental Health with Ms. Lar. If you click it, you're going to get this screen. Ms. Lar, do you want to go over some of these sections?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first three images are links for Learn with Ms. Lar, which is a program that we have on Wednesday. Actually, the last one is a chat with Ms. Lar, which is an open office hours. So if they just want to drop in, click on the Zoom link and I'll be there just sitting and waiting to talk to students. Learn with Ms. Lar is split up into 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade, and it's very sweet. It's a really great way to connect with other people in their classroom in a very open-ended way. People can have their mics on. We're all talking about a similar topic that has to do with mental health. It's very discussion based, and I would not say it's as much learn with Ms. Lar as it is just talk with Ms. Lar. It just wasn't as catchy to say talk with. So if you continue going down, we have past Mental Health Wednesday videos. On the right there, I have mental health topics that are just like clickable links that students can peruse if they want. Really, I think the best and most helpful links for our families are going to be at the middle there. It says Santa Clara County Resources, which is how you get long-term counseling. And for our families that need help now, if anybody in their students' lives or anybody else in their family, the student themselves, are experiencing a crisis, I have the suicide prevention hotlines and Get Crisis Help Now for Santa Clara County. So you're not calling some national phone number, you're actually calling specifically the help that is going to knock on your door. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis, I advise against calling the police. I would actually call our Santa Clara County resource that is specifically trained and able to help with mental health crises. So I'll definitely recommend that to a lot of our students that have a higher level of care and need.
And so there's another link. So if you want, or you're comfortable and you want to talk to Ms. Lar, there's a link with her email linked here as well. Yep. So yeah, you can send an email to her, and there's a short description of Ms. Lar's expertise as well in her role at Blanca Alvarado. So yeah, we just wanted to briefly go over those resources with you, students and parents. If you didn't know or if you forgot, it's a brand new year. Again, welcome to 2021. Let's make this a better year and keep pushing through and persisting to be the best versions of ourselves. Continue to join us. If you weren't able to catch the conversation, we will continue to upload them on our school YouTube page, as well as a short clip, usually a 10-minute clip or so on Instagram, the IGTV section. Are there any other announcements that you want to share, Ms. Lar?
No, just excited to start this new year. I know that so many of our students are looking forward to a fresh start in which they can reset their grades, reset their intentions, reset their relationships. I know that we think that 2020 is behind us, and that's true, and some of our problems might continue to leak into this year, but that doesn't mean that our solutions aren't going to happen this year. I think there are going to be a lot of solutions this year which can give people hope.
Definitely, definitely. So welcome back, students and parents. We wish you nothing but the best this year and forward. If you are interested in joining us with our discussions as well, please make sure to reach out to me, Mr. S, or Ms. Lar. But otherwise, everyone enjoy their afternoon. Take care.
Bye.